Thursday, we're late again, John.
A little bit.
I think that's my fault.
It's a busy week.
It's my fault. My son had his ceremony yesterday, so I ran off and left you guys most of the day. So John, this weekend we got something happening, pretty exciting, between services for summer service stuff.
Yeah, so we're doing Tower Food again for the month of June. So you've seen the display in the narthex where we're collecting things, but to sort of do the education piece that accompanies our summer of service, we have someone from the Food Bank of Delaware coming in who's going to sort of share with us a conversation about what food insecurity looks like in our state, and just really kind of help put flesh on the why we're doing this project. We've done this for many years now, and I don't think the congregation has really had a chance to interact with the food bank. Some of the Christian Ed folks have gotten to meet the driver who picks up the things and has gotten a card from the people there, but we haven't really had that engagement to learn why we're doing this and what our fundraising and our giving really goes towards. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation on Sunday.
It'll be fun. Well, we're going to do John 14.
Yep.
Which is verses 8 to 17 and then 25 to 27. Not sure what gets skipped there. Do you remember? All right, we'll do it. So Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and we will be satisfied. Jesus said to him, have I been with you all this time, Philip, and still you do not know me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. But if you do not, then believe me because of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I'm going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him because he abides with you, and he will be in you. I have said these things to you while I am still with you. But the advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. Well, this is I leaned over to you during the service, John, because I remember always that first line. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and we will be satisfied. This was the scripture that was read on the Sunday, maybe the first Sunday that the church had gotten together, and the pastor who was down here that day from Philadelphia Seminary, who I think was maybe Tappert. It might have been Tappert.
I think so.
I got to look back in Russ Hokinson's history, but it might have been Theodore Tappert. Was here preaching that day, and someone came up to him after the service. It is so reported.
Yeah.
And said, Philip says, show us the Father and we'll be satisfied. That should be our church's name, St. Philip's. So that's how we got our name, because just the desire to see God in our lives and God in action. So interesting story. Well, you preached on this, John. You want to kind of lead a little bit for us?
Yeah, I talked a little bit about sort of the disciples really struggling in this conversation. This is sort of a larger, multiple chapter conversation.
Farewell discourse.
Yeah, that Jesus is having with the disciples before the events of Holy Week take place.
And we're actually at the Last Supper. He's already done the foot washing.
Yep.
He's already given the great commandment, love one another as I have loved you. Then he keeps on going.
Yeah, and then we've sort of hit this piece, which is, Thomas has said to him, where are you going? What do you mean you're leaving?
We don't know the way.
Yeah, and Jesus saying, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And then Philip, on the heels of that statement, says, completely misses what Jesus has said and says, show us the Father. And you get this sort of lines from Jesus going, oh my goodness, you still don't understand? Like, I've been with you, I've shown you, I've shown you the Father. The Father is in me, and I am in Him. To know one is to know the other, and we get this sort of conversation of, I understand that you are fearing me leaving, but I'm not going to leave you by yourself. Even though the mission of the church is changing from being Jesus driven to disciple driven at this point. Jesus understands they need somebody, and I sort of talked about the fear of that leaving, of being alone, and what happens when you think you're alone, and the reality of the disciples really truly doing what Jesus says they will do, which is greater works, because God's Spirit is never far from them.
Yeah. And the misunderstanding, John, I think it continues even to today with chapter 14, because as you said, like right before this, we get the I am the way and the truth and the life piece, which people misunderstand. No one comes to the Father except through me, he says.
Yeah.
And we misunderstand that to mean that Jesus is the only way to heaven.
Yeah.
When that's really not what he's talking about. But rather, he's talking about us dwelling with him and him dwelling with us.
Yeah.
God dwelling with us, or as we've joked because of our colleague,
abiding.
Where does God abide? And they use that right here, right? I will send the Holy Spirit in my name, and the Holy Spirit will abide with you. You know him because he abides with you.
Yep.
So they use that word right here, and that's what it's really about. There's something about God abiding with us in the person of Jesus and in the person of the Holy Spirit as well. But people misunderstand that part. We misunderstand the part. Let's talk about it. Very truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact, do greater works than these, because I'm going to the Father. John, I've never raised anybody from the dead.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
I haven't healed anybody. I haven't exorcised any spirits.
So what is this? What is this greater stuff, John?
This is an interesting part, and I spent a lot of time looking at this in the commentary, and people don't have a great idea. The Spirit does an abundance of things in our life, and I think we tend to look at that and spiritualize this passage of we're going to do the miracles of that. We've got John's book of signs in this gospel, where Jesus does miracle after miracle, and they keep getting more magnanimous. They keep getting more memorable for people. And we fall into that and go, we should be able to do that. I'm sure people have probably tried to do water into wine, and it doesn't work.
I've tried many times.
But
it doesn't work.
But I think it goes to the reality of Jesus knows that the disciples are going to take care of this church, and in their hands it's going to grow to something greater than what he's leaving them. And it's not a greater works in the terms of more miraculous works. It's greater in number.
Okay.
And whether that's
because the church has so many people, and the church is
there's going to be
loving more people, and is that it?
Yeah, there's more opportunity to feed and teach and preach and care for God's people. It becomes, I guess, from the people who have more more expertise than me, they're saying it's greater in number versus greater in miraculous.
Which would make sense a little bit, because he does talk in the next verses about sending the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, to be with us, to abide with us, and to be in us. And so that does kind of make sense, because he's kind of empowering the church at that point. So, how about this one, John? I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it. I have not yet won the lottery. Not one time, John.
My mortgage hasn't been paid off either.
I'm just saying that hasn't happened. But even stuff that's less selfish. So when I've prayed for healing, sure, absolutely. Some people have been healed, others have not.
Yeah.
Tragedies that have befallen people that I love do not miraculously disappear. They have to live through them and deal with them for years of heartache. What are we talking about?
That's another tough one. And again, kind of the folks that I was reading looked at it as it's not Jesus being Santa Claus. It's not Jesus putting forward sort of wish fulfillment, but it. And I don't know if I believe this or not. They talked about it as Jesus saying, you know, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. He's saying it in a really roundabout way. He's in this Last Supper with his disciples. He's going to the garden. He's going to go to the cross for them, and this is sort of a final opportunity to say how much they mean to him. And he says it in this way when, as 21st century people, we would probably have said it as, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you, right? You know that I love you unconditionally, right? But we take it as sort of this wish fulfillment thing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck kind of with you of, God has revealed God's self as being someone who comes in the last place, I would think, in the last moments, I would think, and does the miraculous. And so there's a part of God who is this 100%, but I don't fully understand the times where that doesn't happen.
I wonder, John, if you have to tie it back to the verses that we have before, where Jesus talks, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Believe me because of the works themselves. Believe me, believe me, believe me.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a sense of, and just also getting to the misunderstanding. Show us the Father and we'll be satisfied. I'm right here.
Yeah.
What have you missed? Going back before that, when Thomas says, we don't know where you were going. How can we know the way?
Yeah.
And I wonder if tying that idea in with, if in my name, and I wonder if there's a sense of trusting and believing and knowing what the name of Jesus means. It doesn't mean wish fulfillment. It doesn't even mean you're going to get everything that you want, even though Jesus says, if in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it. I wonder if there's a way in which we tie this back to the prologue to John somewhat. Yeah. He came to his own, but his own did not know him. He came that they might have life and have it abundantly. And I wonder if there's a sense in which the asking in Jesus' name is predicated on knowing that name deeply and knowing the grace and the salvation that is offered in there. But it doesn't mean that you're going to get every wish fulfilled.
Yeah.
But it does mean, and again, that even comes at the end of the gospel, right? We have said these things to you so that you might come to believe that Jesus is the Christ and that in him you might have life. It's something, I'm paraphrasing there, but it's something pretty close to that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's what we're talking about. That we're not talking about wish fulfillment, but we're talking about something about knowing and trusting the name of Jesus so deeply that he's right there. Because as you said, he does love us this much.
Yeah.
He is the way and the truth and the life that abides with us. I wonder if there's something to that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
you're spot on there.
I don't know. Because, I mean, all of these gets at that. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. That's another one people get confused at, because he's not talking about the 612 Jewish commandments. He's not talking
No.
about the
The
10
10.
commandments.
He's talking about the 2.
He's talking about the 2.
Yeah.
Love God,
Love your neighbor.
love your neighbor, which he just told them in chapter 13. So we're really tying it. I think it's really important that we think about how we tie what Jesus is saying, not just to anything and everything out there, but to specifically what John is going at here. Because John's a very unique gospel. As a little shameless plug, this coming year, the Bible study, the whole year for the most part, is going to be the Gospel of John. It's a unique gospel. And he has a unique worldview.
Yeah, more than really anybody, he pieces things together. I mean, he's logical in the sense of he tells the story, but everything sort of builds on
itself.
Yeah, more than any other gospel writer.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you kind of have to pay attention. So it's not surprising that, in trying to make sense of this, we went back to the beginning and we went to the ending.
Right.
Because that's perfectly in line with what John would do of, Jesus said this here, and it shows up again here, it shows up again here, it shows up again here. Symbolism matters to John. Themes matter to John.
Right. You have to keep holding what he said in the beginning, what he said to the woman at the well, what happened at the wedding of Cana. These are all the stories that form that early part.
Yeah.
And then we start getting into, as you said, the book of signs, John's book of signs, getting through there. And what is he really trying to do? He's not just trying to heal. There's something bigger in John that Jesus is trying to do. And then getting his disciples finally to the table and doing what is completely out of the norm there in terms of washing their feet. And not letting those pieces all go, but letting them inform these kinds of confusing statements. And I think what's really important is not going anywhere else. Don't go to Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Don't go there. Don't go to Paul's letters. Stay within John and let John inform itself. Is really a hard thing, and so that gets really deep. I hope that helps people. I don't know. It's just John and I just decided to kind of play with the more difficult parts of this today. I think we've already talked in this text. I don't want to talk about the advocate too much, because we'll probably talk about the advocate and the Holy Spirit next week. So we'll save that. But we just tried to deal with kind of the more difficult parts of this today. So, you want to pray us out?
Sure. Gracious God, it's oftentimes that we struggle to find where you're going, where we don't necessarily understand the work you're calling us to or the direction you're pointing us. Or sometimes we have to go back to the beginning and go back to the ending to see what you've shared with us, to see that you have given us a guide and an advocate who will continue to bring us back to what you're all about. Bring us back to your love, your grace, back to the heart that you have given in this world and your Son who abides with us. Lord, help us to be your hands and your heart today. Guide us in our service so we can meet the needs of all the people we encounter. Give us courage to go to places that may be uncertain or scary. Give us courage to just be your disciples today. Root us in the presence of your Spirit so that we can be church and church together. In your Son's name we pray.
Amen. Have a great weekend.
We'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday for the food bank thing.
Take care.
Bye.